Welcome to Ready, Set, Real Estate, where we will help empower and educate you on many different aspects of real estate, finance, and investing. Each week, we will expand your knowledge and uncover hidden truths. We will break down real-world scenarios and study actual how-to strategies. Anyone can buy real estate, but together we'll ensure you make smart real estate investment decisions. Now, here's your host, award-winning author, international speaker, and real estate educator, Lisa Gillette.
Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to another information-packed episode on Ready, Set, Real Estate. Gosh, 251. We are on episode 251. I am delighted to be here with you all. I am delighted. I am so happy. I've had an opportunity to connect with some folks over this past week, and it's really interesting to I'm having interesting discussions about the real estate market. And yes, I heard the news. You've probably heard it too. The Federal Reserve lowered the rates by 50 basis points. So everyone can now take a deep breath. Let's do it together. Inhale, exhale. Ooh, what does that mean? Some interesting times we are in and where we're headed. And the movement continues. Okay. For those of you who are new to the show, say hi, say hello, welcome. We'll do classroom style today. We're covering vacant lots today. Top 3 things to know when buying vacant lots. I wanted to revisit this, especially at a time where people are looking at housing affordability and feel like, maybe, just maybe I should look into purchasing a vacant lot and then building my own home. So yeah, let's explore that. So today, just to cover basics, we'll talk about top 3 things for you to consider before you invest in purchasing or invest in vacant lots. And it's okay if you have already and you're learning as you go, because sometimes that is the best, our best teachers. You jump in and you just do. Otherwise, you get caught up in analysis paralysis, and that's not ever fun, right? Nothing ever moves, nothing materializes if you are overthinking the steps and what you need to do. And oftentimes, a lot of us we're guilty of that. All right, let's see here. Oh, we are in September, so we're in third quarter already. I cannot believe third quarter has gone by so quickly. That is just incredibly quick that we're in September. So let's just talk here about real estate goals. How have you been on your real estate goals? And that reminds me to do sound check real quick, especially when I start messing with my mics and all that fun stuff. It's like, let's see here. Make sure. It's like, okay, good. I can leave that alone. All right. Real estate goals. Write your real estate goals down. You should be writing them down if you haven't already. You can start now. And real estate goals can be anything from starting to improve your credit, saving towards down payment, attending that real estate class, thinking about getting licensed and sign up for the courses, thinking about investing in a real estate investment trust, looking into some of the realty tech, right? Some of the real estate tech companies that are offering one that I've been playing around with, and this by no way is a sponsorship or a plug or my support of it, is I've been playing around with Arrived for some time, and I just dabbling So I get some of the emails and the announcements about the properties they picked up and the dividends that they're paying and they're offering. So of course, the bigger your investment, the larger the dividend and return. So it's a good way for some of you. And for me, it's just something I'm testing out and playing as an option to maybe create a small little portfolio for my son. And so if I like it, I've probably been it for a year. So I get the notices and whatnot, and I really haven't done much. I just set it and forget it. And I think I'm going to bring him on now so he can start to understand. He's 13. Lathan's 13 now. Can you all believe that? Lathan is 13. Whew. I know he's in the last year of middle school, high school. We're starting to look at high schools now. Oh, help me. We're starting to look at high schools now. Okay. So just that has been on my goal along with some other things. So I'm sharing that with you. What is the saying? A goal without a plan or without writing it down is only a wish. So let's move it out of the spiritual into the physical so that you can get closer to realizing some of those goals. That's my spiel. All right. Before I jump into today's episode and share my slide, I want to do a couple things and just remind you all. Lisa Gillette here, also known as Super Agent, broker owner of a boutique firm here in SoCal, that's Southern California, known as Devenio Estates. And some of you know me formerly as Lisa Porto, but Super Agent has been my go-to name and trademark for those of you who've been rocking with me since forever. And we've been growing. I'm happy to announce that I will be speaking and presenting at one of the real estate conferences happening in Garden Grove this October. So I've got some goodies. I got something planned that I'm really excited about to bring to my real estate industry professionals. And stay tuned for that. I'm working on some really cool stuff for that presentation. And you'll start to see a lot more of Ready, Set, Real Estate as we're going to kick off some amazing things towards the end of quarter and then next year. Of course, all of this is very ambitious at the same time, while I have the audacity to be in law school, while also running a business and being a family person, mom, wife, all that fun stuff that comes with it, with life. So I say that to say is, write those goals down. Time's going to pass anyway. I can't believe it. I'm in year 4 of law school already. Time is going to pass anyway. This is something that I've wanted to do since I was a little girl. This was my first choice path. And then real estate happened. And then real estate happened again and then again and again. And the deeper and further I got into real estate, the more I realized this is what I enjoy. I love what this affords me, brings me, and the solutions and services that we can bring to our clients and people who are in need oftentimes. So being able to add attorney to my CV in the near future, it's just, for me, is like, that's the feeling I get. So that's where I'm at with it. Okay. Of course, I've got a show sponsor. Listen, before we come back and we talk about top 3 things you need to know when buying vacant lots. Of course, I've got a disclaimer before we jump into that, and we'll be right back after this sponsor break. We'll be right back, guys.
Do you have properties that need to be maintained? For professional services that guarantee your property will stay safe and secure, Omnis Property is the team you want by your side. As a company, we pride ourselves on our best-in-class professionals, equipped with the latest technology for all your end-to-end property preservation needs. That means that from start to finish, our expert team can handle everything from accurate assessments to preservation projects of all sizes. Save money and time by working with leading experts that understand your needs and are committed to premier service. Get started today by contacting us for your project estimate. Visit www.omnispreservation.com or call 310-957-9132.
Fantastic. You know the number. Definitely reach out if you got a clean out, you've got haul away junk cars, whatever, and you've got some stuff going on with the property. Definitely reach out to Omnis Property Solutions, okay? Because they'll have you looking like a rock star, and they can alleviate any issues you've been thinking about, like, oh, I've got to deal with this. No, just call the professionals, get them out there to help. All right, before we jump into this, let's talk about disclaimers. Of course, the information shared on this show should not be considered legal or tax advice. That's inclusive of financing, as I did mention rates and whatnot. I'm not a loan officer. I'm not a mortgage banker. I'm not a lender. So definitely reach out to those licensed, reputable professionals regarding your unique situation. Do I have knowledge about it? Yes. Do I have enough knowledge to be giving you advice regarding your situation? No. My area of expertise is on the real estate side. So if you have something specific regarding taxes and legal advice or loans, you definitely should be consulting with those reputable licensed professionals. If you don't have any, I'm happy to send you a referral for a couple or 2, 3 of professionals in that area. Or where I like to send people is to either smartlaw.org for legal advice, or to the Department of Business and Consumer Affairs, that they can also assist you with any unique or specific situations that may involve sometimes fraud or anything of that matters. Okay, so that's my spiel regarding getting those specific questions tailored to your situation. This is for edutainment purposes. That's what we do here. Okay. So let's jump right into this. Top 3 things to know when buying vacant lots. I'm going to keep today's show short, sweet, and simple because I still am on assignments and I want to make sure that I stay on task and on top. But of course, I hold myself accountable to the commitment to bringing you a new episode every week. And if you haven't subscribed already to LA Super Agent on any of your favorite podcast platforms, including YouTube, Meta, LinkedIn, you should do so now. Shout out to those of you who've been tuning and streaming on the radio podcast and also connecting with us from next door. Welcome. Say hi, say hello, welcome. Okay, my number one when it comes to knowing what you need to know when buying vacant lots is the location. The location. That's the golden nuggets of real estate is location. But with location as it relates to vacant lots, or even something that might be buildable, may not be completely vacant, might have a shed, some type of improvement that you might even consider tearing down for some bigger use or a different use. One of the things in our location, so location's the big thing. Then there's the sub things or subcategories you should know, which is zoning, understanding the zoning, the use of that land, and topography. So we've got a couple of vacant lots that we've purchased and sold. And one of the things that we get asked a lot is, can I put a mobile home there? Lisa can't give you that answer, nor would I want to give you that answer because of liability reasons. I don't know what you plan on putting there, what the specifications are, and what you should do, and this is something you should hold in your back pocket, is the contact to the city or county planning department. You've got to contact the planning department so that you can get a better grasp, knowledge, understanding from the city, county as it relates to that specific lot. One of the things that we keep coming across, especially in California, are one or two things: flood zones, fire hardening areas, right? So flood or fire is our two big things. Is this lot in a flood zone? Is this lot in an area known to basically burn? And it's important to understand these things. Why? For one, insurability reasons. Two, can you even build? And if you can build, and then there are specifications that come with building in flood zones that the city county planning department will lay out for you. That oftentimes includes raising the foundation, right? Raising the foundation, making sure that water can get through. Last thing they want you to do or subject anybody is to the dangers of flood and or fires. So understanding that use is a huge thing when we talk about location and building, right? Or purchasing vacant lots. So zoning is one thing, understanding what your zonings are, and you can Google that stuff, or you can contact the city or accounting planning department so they can give you the chart and give you the zoning, and it will lay out specifications and the requirements, which is why you should not be doing this alone. You should be having conversations with an architect, with your contractor, so that they can lay out, right, the blueprints, and they can work alongside with you with what you're attempting to build. What are you trying to put there? Yes, there's been this big noise about the ordinances have changed. You can now put mobile homes on the lots, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, if you can do that, then you've got to understand what the requirements are in terms of the sewer, septic tank. I need you to, can you connect to the main sewer line? What are those requirements? So as I continue to talk about or address use, let's just be clear. When the property says vacant lot and you purchase it as a vacant lot, the zoning and use is just that, vacant. That doesn't mean you get to park your cars there. Doesn't mean you get to store things there. You've got to go through the process of permitting and changing its use and letting them know, hey, I plan to use it for this, right? If you plan on using it for parking, you need to let them know, I plan to use it for parking, patron, employee parking, or private, personal, whatever. You've got to communicate to them what you plan on using that lot for. Here's why. Because if to their knowledge or last known record of the use of that land is vacant, and for some reason, one or the other, the city, the county inspector comes out and they basically pass by your lot and they see that you've done something there other than it being registered as vacant, now you've got a nice little invitation from the city to say, hey, you're going to have to do some corrective measures regarding what you are doing with the lot. So again, don't do this alone. Work with your contractor, work with your builders, your architect, your team. So it's not just about buying the land, it's also making sure that you've got the team together. Topography. So along exploring location and discussing the key thing, right? Number one thing here in buying vacant land is the topography. Is it flat land? Again, we've sold flat land, and then we've got land that is in the mountainside. I don't really know the ratio exactly, but again, I like to give people a heads up that say, hey, by the way, it's not entirely flat. Again, not entirely flat. What does that mean? You're likely going to have to consult with a contractor about shoring, being able to use some of that, the square footage that is into the mountainside. What needs to happen so that you can use that, if you can use it at all. So very important to understand zoning, the use, and the topography as we're talking about location. Number 2, cash or finance. Cash or finance. I get asked this a lot on our listings. Can I finance? Will the seller carry back? And it depends. Some will carry back. Some will carry papers is the same, meaning they will finance the difference. You may have 10,000, 5,000, 10,000, 15. The lot purchase price is a lot more. So you then come up with some type of seller financing option, and the seller may say yes or no. It depends on what the seller's exit strategy is as it relates to that property. Some of our seller clients want to cash out and they don't want to deal with financing, especially with the volatility of the market. So both sellers and buyers are both concerned about volatility. And it's either going to work or it's not. So you're either going to use your personal funds, and when it comes to purchasing the lot, or here's one that many people are not aware of. Look into all-in-one construction loans, which will allow you to purchase the land, finance the acquisition of the land and the construction costs, and then allow you to refinance to a permanent loan once you've got something built or improve on the property. And if it qualifies for a residential type loan, where you can then amortize that over a traditional 15, 20, 30-year loan. Think about an all-in-one construction loan to permanent loan. Again, not a lender here, but it's good to know as a real estate broker that I can communicate with you all. Those are some financing options that maybe you should consider, and ask those professionals to see if it's a good fit for what you would like to do. From my experience, these lenders who do the all-in-one construction cost, the financing at minimum needs to be $100,000. So if you're acquiring land for $20,000, $10,000, $40,000, understand that the acquisition plus rehab, or the improvement or construction costs need to add up to a minimum of $100,000. And trust me, that's easy to do here in California when you're talking about building new construction from ground up. Very easy to accomplish. So that's number 2. Number 3, I know you probably would not have thought of investigating the adjacent lots or the neighboring lots. And here's why. We've got a client, past clients who've explored purchasing, and they purchased, and then understanding that maybe your project is a little bit more involved and you need more land. So it's very important to also understand and investigate the adjacent lots. A couple of things you can do is pay for the survey. Sometimes the survey is already done and you can negotiate that. And actually, our contracts here in California have changed that the surveys or anything that has been done and the seller has access to, they should be disclosing that and handing that over to the buyer. Prior to the changes, those were things that you would negotiate and you would sell them. But now, based on contract, very important to know and read those contracts, was now essentially your seller would be handing them over to you as the buyer, because this is for informational purposes. This is that disclosure. The due diligence is part of your due diligence investigation, that they have knowledge of this, and this is what the survey is saying. So surveys will tell you a lot about boundaries, about any fixtures that are protected, anything about how far from the boundary line do your setbacks need to be, especially when we're talking about those specific areas that deal with water or fire. Okay, water, fire, trees, and anything that's protected by the government. Another reason too to understand or investigate adjacent lots is fencing, right? Fencing is because maybe they've put a fence up that encroaches on the property, on your property. And it's important to understand and know, where is your boundary? Where is your property line? Is it where they put the fence up, or if you're deciding to put a fence? Discussing with the city and the county about what type of fence, and making sure that it is compliant with what you can put up around your property. Another thing to understand or investigate when you're dealing with purchasing vacant lots is finding out if there's an existing or prior litigation with any adjacent lots, the neighboring lot or any lots in the area. Are there class action lawsuits? Is there prior litigation with the specific lot next to yours? Is it going to impact you, affect you? How will it affect you? So very important to do your investigation when it comes to that. And of course, build restrictions. I've seen this happen both on single family flips and developments, and also seeing it on vacant lots, is that the lot next to you can possibly have a build restriction recorded in the deed that is affecting your lot. So when it comes to real property, real estate, there is a lot that you've got to scrutinize and look into. It's not just about buying that piece of land, but it's also looking into what can you do with that piece of land so that you know you've made the right decision. So just to recap, so these top three things to know when you're purchasing a vacant lot is 1, location, 2, whether you're going to be using cash or finance. And in using cash or finance, does it make better sense to finance, keep the cash and leverage the loan so that you have that cushion for any oopsies in the future, any contingencies? And the last top thing that I think you should know in purchasing vacant lot is knowing what is happening with the adjacent lots next to the one you're interested in acquiring. All right, short, sweet, and strong. That's my time. If you have any questions or a special situation that you'd like to discuss, feel free to drop me a message. Send me an email at lisa@lasuperaagent.com. That's lisa@lasuperaagent.com. And of course, you're welcome to send me a text. This is my direct text line, 323-488-3265. Believe it or not, I do respond and I answer. Sometimes it gets me in trouble because I'm always answering. 323-488-3265. And of course, I'd love to connect with you on social media at LA Super Agent. Listen, that's my time. You've all been fantastic. Have a powerful and productive week. We'll see you next week on another information-packed episode right here on your favorite real estate podcast. We'll see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Ready, Set Real Estate Podcast with Lisa Gillette, the LA Super Agent. Please like, subscribe, and share LA Super Agent everywhere on your favorite podcast platform.